So this video is a nice little home exercise program for you when it comes to beginner Pilates. So we're going to do a mix of a few different positions you would do in Pilates, which is going to target all your different slings, we call them, in your core, okay? So this can get you nice and strong to reduce any recurrent low back pain problems and to help you generally just increase your strength in your lower back. Okay, so we're going to start with just some key concepts of Pilates. So we're going to start with the one in lying and just going over the simple steps and making sure that you know we should always hold when you're doing certain movements. Okay, so we're going to start with the core concepts. Okay, so if you can make sure that you safely get onto your mat. Okay, so it might be from standing, coming down to one knee, then the other, and then falling onto your side, onto your back, using your arms to help you down into lying. And you might want a small pillow, okay, or a small towel just to support your head, okay, not too thick, okay, if you can help it. Okay, so we're going to start in lying, feet together, okay, hands by your side. First of all, we're going to think about our feet. So how we start by doing our feet together, and we go into our V, and then bring your feet to, and then you know that your feet are in the right position. Okay, so our feet are in the right position, which sets our knees in the right position with our hips. Okay, then we come up to the pelvis. So we're going to just have a go, just rocking back and forth in the pelvis, finding the two extremes. Okay, so that's one extreme. We're really squeezing that lower back down into the mat. The other extreme is where you really let your back arch and stick your tummy sort of forwards. Okay, so they're the two extremes. So have a little rock in between those. And then you want to find the midpoint between those two. Forwards, backwards, and then find the midpoint. And that is where we hold. That's number 2. Number 3 is ribs, okay? Ribs, we should avoid the flare. We shouldn't see a gap ever here, okay? So you want to keep the ribs down into the mat, okay? So pelvis, find the midpoint, and then ribs, just place them down. We're not pushing them down, okay? With just a small bit of tension pushing into the mat, okay? Hands by your side. Then you should just feel, it's number 4, the shoulder blades into the mat. So you should feel tension, or you should feel contact with the mat at the shoulder blade, at the ribs, down into the pelvis, okay? And that is where we maintain our position whenever we do our Pilates exercises. So just remember, number 1 is feet. Okay, number 2 is pelvis. Find that midpoint. Number 3, ribs. Just pushing down. So you can see I've got a nice flat position into the mat. And then number 4 is shoulder blades. And your head just rests nicely, just looking down. And that's how we start. Now you might just want to spend 5 minutes just trying to maintain that position while you breathe, because it's actually quite hard to stay there without sort of trying to lift your back or your ribs away. You want to just focus on deep breath in and out while keeping that position there. In and out. Breathe in and out. That's something I want you to really work on when you're new to Pilates. You know, just start by just working on finding your position. You should really do that for a few days just to get the basics before you really throw yourself into any exercises, so you know your key concepts. Once you've got this, you know you're going to be doing the exercise right, as long as you're maintaining that position throughout, okay? With some slight adaptations if we push on to harder levels, but we're going to stick with low level stuff with you for this video. Okay, and then we're going to start doing the just the different exercises. So we're going to start with one leg lift, okay? So we're going to start with that today. So we're going to go onto our back. Let's find your core position. So think feet, pelvis, find that midpoint, ribs, just push them down, arms by your side, just slightly push the shoulder blades into the mat. I'm going to start with a one leg lift. So we're going to do this by maintaining your pelvic position without tilting or rocking, okay? Hands by your side. You're going to slowly lift one leg into tabletop position. Now you should see my leg. It's quite like a 90-degree angle, and it's just lifted as if you literally could balance a table or a tray on the top of your leg and hold it there. Okay, your leg should be lifted now, but you should have that midpoint of your pelvis. Your ribs should be down and your shoulder blades into the mat. Okay, the hard bit is when you start to move again. So when you bring the leg down, maintain that position, place it down. Good. Now without switching or putting all your weight onto one side, okay, find that midpoint again, find your Pilates position, slowly lift the opposite leg and hold. And what you might find is that one side is stronger than the other. You might find you want to drop your hip more on one side when you generally will have a weaker side. And that's okay, that's quite normal. It's because you've got like a dominant leg most of the time, like you would a dominant arm, okay, without realizing. Okay, so find the pelvis midpoint, ribs down, shoulder blades into the mat, and lift that leg into tabletop position. And place it down. And the opposite leg. And place it down. Now as you get used to this, you can slightly speed it up. But I would take your time maintaining that position so you can see that nothing really is moving here. And that's when you know you're doing it right. If you generally find this exercise quite difficult, you're doing it right. If you're finding it easy, you've probably lost some control of your core. Now, it's up to you how many repetitions you do, but generally, we should aim to maybe do 5 on each leg. And that's what I want you to have a go at to begin with. Great job. Good. Okay, so we've done about 5 on each leg. Take a breather. Then you can probably repeat that 3 times over, okay? And that's a good start, okay? And this is working your anterior sling. These muscles here deep in that core, okay? With that leg lift in front, okay? So we're going to work our lateral sling now. So this is our exercise number 2, okay? And we're going to do the hip roll, okay? So the hip roll involves, number 1, finding your Pilates position. So find that midpoint, ribs down, shoulder blades into the mat, head relaxed, and we're just going to let one knee just roll away from the other till you find the point where you feel like your hip wants to drop, okay? And that won't be too far. And then you just draw it back to center. And you're just going to work on one side at a time for this, okay, rather than alternating. And you'll find that the other leg wants to move. Now I want you to try and keep that standing leg really nice and still as well, okay? Try and avoid it wobbling around. It will move you a little bit, but that's good. And you want to keep that core engaged, keep those ribs down, keep the shoulder blades into the mat. And most importantly, you need to keep breathing. Because we need to teach the body to learn to use the core while we naturally breathe, okay? So we've done about 5 on that leg, and now we're going to switch to the other side. So roll that knee away, draw it back to center. I'll just show you from this angle, just so you can see. Okay, so we're just rolling one leg away to about that point, and then drawing it back to center. And away, back to center. Good. Keep going. Really good job. Keep breathing. Keep those shoulder blades down. Keep those ribs down. And the core is engaged. Brilliant. And again, 5 on each leg. Making sure you focus on one leg at a time. We don't alternate. Do 5 on one leg, 5 on the other. Take a breather and then repeat 3 times, okay? So we're getting that nice lateral sling working. Brilliant. Okay, so third exercise, okay? This time we're just gonna do one leg slide, okay? So this time we're taking the leg away, okay? So it's single leg extension. So we're going to start again. Always go back to basics. Always go back to the beginning. Are my feet in the right place? Take to our V, bring it 2. Is my pelvis, is my core engaged? Am I holding at that midpoint? Yes. My ribs down? Yes.
shoulder blades into the mat, and head relaxed, okay? And all you're going to do is keep your foot planted on the mat. So you might want to have your foot like bare feet, or a sock might help you just to make it a bit more slidey, okay? You can even put like a polish cloth on your heel. Sometimes that helps as well. So you can just take one leg and you're going to draw it away. And as you take this leg away, this is one of the most common areas where you want to lift. People start to lift their ribs away, okay? That's like the worst thing you could do. So you need to keep those ribs down, okay? And take the leg away, keeping that core engaged just to where you feel comfortable, and then you draw it back to center. Now again, that other leg that's not moving should be nice and still. You shouldn't be letting it wobble around, okay? Nice flat back into the mat. And away. See how I'm not going fully straight? That's because if I go straight, I know that I've lost control. So this for me is a good amount of extension. Okay, I'm going to do 5 on that leg. This core is engaged. These ribs are down. Sometimes it helps if you want just to have a little feel of the core as you're doing it, because you'll feel if you're letting go or not. Have a go at that if you want. Arms on the side. Okay, recheck. I'm just rechecking my position before I now change legs. And I'm going to extend with that leg. And back. And extend. Good. So I'm going to try 5 on this leg. This is all level 1 Pilates I'm teaching you. This will not hurt your back. I mean, no exercise in Pilates really hurts your back. It only helps your back. As long as you're kicking your core in, it's amazing for your back. It only helps. There's no stress on the spine at all. It's only causing lots of stability going on in there. Okay, so that's your one leg extension. Great job. Okay, do well. That's 3 exercises. We're just going to give you 5 to do, okay? So we're on number 4 now. So for this one, we're going to do side lying, okay? And I'm going to show you on the one side, but obviously you need to make sure you switch sides. So you do that by just whatever way you're facing, just take your legs round to switch to the opposite side, okay? But I'm going to show you on this side today. So on your side, you can grab your small towel or your small pillow, put your hand underneath, head on the pillow, and that's a nice comfortable position for you, okay? So we're lying on our side, your knees are bent, ankles together, hand on the mat. Now, to get our core engaged here, the most important concept when you're on your side, obviously it's quite different to when you're on your back, okay, is that we draw our tummy and our side away from the mat. So you can see I want a gap through here, okay? So don't just let go, okay? Pull that core in, so pull the tummy muscles in and try and lift your side away from the mat. My ankles are together and I should be able to see my knees, okay? If you can't see them, you're too far back, okay? Your knees are just slightly in front. Have your hand on the mat because it will help you, okay? And then keep that tummy drawn away from the mat. Ankles are together. I'm going to do the clam exercise, okay? Level 1. So we keep the side drawn away, and then we know our core is activated, okay? And we're just going to open the top leg, keeping the ankles together, and then draw it back down. Open the top leg and draw it back down. Now, when you do that, what you'll want to do is rock back, okay? So what you need to do is make sure that everything stays still here and draw it back down, okay? If you start rocking, you've lost all control, okay? You're just using motion to do it rather than your muscles to do it, okay? So hand on the mat, core activated. And you're just going to lift up and down. Great job. And you can slow it right down as well if you want. And you can see how everything is staying really still. That gap's still there. Keep checking that. And you'll probably find you do about 5 or so, And then you can just let go of that core a little minute, have a breather, okay? It's up to you, see what you can tolerate. You might only tolerate 3 to begin with, and that's absolutely fine. But if you aim for about 5, I think that's quite reasonable. Ankles together. We'll do one more set with you just so you get used to this exercise. I'm going to open the top leg and close. Open the top leg and close. See how I'm not rocking, okay? And keeping nice and still here. And you'll feel it all in the outside bottom area. And this really provides lots and lots of stability along this, again, this lateral sling, okay? It's important that we get our core working for your back, but it's also important for your back that we get your bottom muscles really kicking in as well. And that's it. You'll start to really feel a nice sort of ache here. It's good muscle ache. So if you want to, you can rub your bottom just to ease that muscle ache a little bit, okay? And then you want to try sort of 3 rounds on one side, and then just slowly take your legs right round, and then you can go on to your opposite side and do exactly the same exercise on that side. Good. That's number 4. Last exercise, okay? So I hope you're doing well. If you need a break, obviously take one. You can always pause this video, and you can always come back to each video. So this is our number 5 exercise. 4-point kneeling is a really safe position for your spine. Anybody can do it, and it's really comfortable, but it also really challenges your core, okay? So make sure your knees are hip width apart and your hands are just slightly in front of your shoulders, and then again, nice shoulder width apart, okay? Should be that nice, you can see I'm in that nice sort of square position, okay? Then we want to find our nice flat back position, which I'm holding there. Okay, so we can do that by sticking your bum right out, so you get that sort of arch in your lower back area, okay? And then if you tuck your tummy right under, you get that nice arch position. And that's your 2 extreme movements. And that's how we're going to find our position, because we're going to find the midpoint between those 2, okay? So that's one extreme. That's the other extreme. And I'm going to find the midpoint between those 2. Now I should have a nice flat back, which you hopefully can see on this video. So I've got a nice flat back, and that is where we always maintain our position. Because what we'll start to do in a minute is start to move our arms and legs. And then you'll find that you just want to, let go, or you'll start to do this. And you really have to keep that nice flat back position. And you want to try and draw your tummy away from the mat. That's how you got to try and think of it. Okay. So in this 4-point kneeling position, and we're just going to start with just a simple movement, but this simple movement should be difficult. If it's difficult, you're doing it right, okay? And we're just going to literally just lift one arm in front of you and place it back down. Lift one arm in front, place it back down. And again, same arm. When I do this, nothing moves, okay? You'll be really tempted to twist your hip, okay? Keep everything really nice and flat. Lift the arm up and down. Lift the arm up and down. Okay, reset if you need to find those 2 extremes. Find that midpoint. Draw that lower tummy away. Head sort of looking down to the mat. And we're going to switch now to the opposite arm. So we're going to come up and down and up and down and up and down. And that's 5 on each arm. Brilliant. Okay, so arms are a little bit easier than our legs, so that's the next step on. So they're both sort of level 1, but actually, I would say the legs are more difficult, okay? So keeping that nice and no swinging, okay, and nice flat back. Just keep remembering those concepts. This time I'm going to start sliding a leg, okay? So you keep that core position, okay? Keep that nice and steady, and you're just going to slide one leg, and see how I haven't really moved it too much. Slide the foot back, draw it back to centre. I'm doing 5 on that side. See how nothing really moves? My back stays nice and flat, and I'm not arching my back, okay? Good. And then I'm going to take a breather, reset if you need to, check that position, and I'm going to switch to the other side. I'm not twisting my hips, okay? Everything's coming back to the same position. And that's 4-point kneeling. So have a go at the arms, have a go at the legs, and then we can show you the progressions to make these exercises more difficult. For example, you might want to take one arm in front as you slide the opposite leg, okay? And then we'll work towards extending the leg, extending the arm, and actually lifting, but don't push yourself into that exercise. But if you do want to try opposite arm and leg, I'd start by just holding one position and moving the other to begin with, or holding and then just doing a slight lift and down. The main concept to remember in 4-point kneeling is you keep that one. There's no swiveling of the hips, okay? You keep that nice flat back, okay? And you maintain that core position throughout every move of the arm or the leg. Okay, I think that's good. So just to finish, I'm just going to show you a few little stretches you might want to have a go at. This is a nice one to open up your back. And again, you can take it as far as you feel comfortable. If that's enough, that's enough. If you feel like you can go a bit further, you can go a bit further. In that 4-point kneeling position, if you want, you can actually use this exercise, this cat-cow exercise it's called, as a nice way of stretching that mid-back area. In this position, you can also take one arm and just stretch through and twist open. And stretch through so you get a nice twist of the upper back and open. Everything as pain allows, as you tolerate, okay? Don't force any movements. Take this arm through and open and through and open. Good. You can also do some really light stretches on your back. You can do some simple knee hugs. Really light knee rolls, keeping your feet planted when you do this one. Double leg hugs, using your arms to take the weight of your legs. You can just hold, or you can add a really small rock. And side to side rock. Good. Place the legs down one at a time. Come onto your side, push up. And then it might be worth just going towards a chair. Stand back up again so you can push up so you feel comfortable. And that's called your backward chaining, which I know most of you know about. So, okay, so I hope this helps. So we've gone through 5 sort of easy level Pilates exercises. Any problems, please give me a shout and let me know how you get on with it. Hope that's all right. That is about, a good 20 minutes of exercise. So I think that's quite a good amount for you. Just to introduce you back to getting your core working, really. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks.